The journey home to Tahoe is always nice. We always leave ourselves a little extra time to stop and enjoy the drive home so that we can explore other places along the way. This trip home was no different. Cruising through the rolling hills of wine country, we had a moment of longing for spring, as the hills and vineyards were that special lush green that comes with recent rains. As we headed east, we decided to make a stop for a few hours in the awesome little town of Sonoma. We knew we had to be home by nightfall, but we weren't ready to be there just yet, so a day trip sounded awesome. We both visited Sonoma briefly, off and on over the years, but never really took the time to play tourist there. Seeing as how we had a few hours to kill, we decided that exploring the heart of Sonoma would be perfect. We pulled into the square and found parking easily enough. Right across the street from where we parked was a little spot called the Basque Cafe, which sounded perfect for a Monday brunch stop. We walked in, took our time going over the menu. They have your classic bakery items, local favorites like avocado toast, and a solid European selection of items as well. Ash settled on the croque madame, and I went for the lunch version of the same, a croque monsieur. Paired up with a cup of locally roasted coffee each, we settled in outside. After our delicious brunch, it was time to stretch our legs and walk off the sandwiches we just ate.
Well, where are we at?
Currently in Sonoma, in the plaza.
Oh. Super cute. There's like a park here behind us. So we're walking through downtown.
We should go play on the swings. We headed straight for the swings because, why not, swings. And I had a blast for a few minutes seeing if I could still do the schoolyard backflip off the swing set. Turns out, I kinda still could. Not bad for my first attempt in a few years. Random fact, we're big on making sure that you can bring your dog everywhere. This is one of those places that apparently you can't have dogs in the park, and we don't know why. So if you do visit Sonoma and you have your four-legged companion with you, your fur baby, your other family member, have your car close by, have a plan, have some place to hang out with the dog, because apparently public officials will tell you to leave. So, not that happened with us, but we figured we'd beat feet with Roka before someone decided to yell at us. But backflips on swings, totally allowed. So we exited the park and wandered to the other side of the street to start exploring the shops. We cruised past gift shops, wine bars, cocktail lounges, and a couple more cafes before crossing the street and headed for the Swiss Hotel. We'd hoped to stop in and get some photos, maybe even a Swiss cocoa, but as it was Monday, they wouldn't be open until much later. The Swiss Hotel is a landmark in Sonoma, having been there since before World War II. There's a hat that hangs in there called Hap's Hat, and if you get the chance, you should definitely check it out. After the Swiss Hotel, just down the street, is the Sonoma State Park, which preserves the site of the Spanish barracks El Cuartel de Sonoma. Established in 1834 by Mexican soldiers from the Presidio of San Francisco. For 10 years, this military post was the most powerful military force in California, often protecting lives and property on the northern frontier, and stood with the local Californians when they were in conflict with the Mexican government. Fun fact, the very first bear flag of California was made here in the Sonoma Barracks in 1846, made with pieces from a petticoat that had made the journey west, strips of red flannel, and California Republic penned by hand in Roman letters. We spent the better part of an hour and a half walking through the state park here. Next to the barracks and the quarters was the Toscana Hotel, which was built in 1852 as a general store, library, and boarding house to immigrants and people there to seek their fortunes. While you were there, you could rest, get 3 meals, and wash up. Many people who passed through the Toscana Hotel would end up calling Sonoma home and building a life there. Just down from the hotel was the 21st Mission in California, Mission San Francisco Solano, built in the 1820s. This was the last mission to be built by the Spanish in California and marked the end of the Mission Trail, which for 300 years the Spanish had built upon during their first and subsequent forays into the western part of the North Americas. We decided not to do the walkthrough here as we had spent so much time just next door, but enjoyed the architecture and how well the mission had been maintained. When we come back, we'll come tour this spot for sure. After all that history, we crossed the street into a vine-covered alleyway and found a shop with artisan chocolates called the Wine Country Chocolate Store. I waited outside with Roca while Ash went in and got some treats. After chocolates for Ash, we wandered down to another alleyway off the square and discovered a place that would make your inner child very happy. The Chocolate Cow. They have ice cream, gelato, candies, handmade chocolates, toys, and every little thing you could imagine to make you smile. We got some espresso to perk ourselves up for the drive home, and some ice cream because we just couldn't resist. We saw that our time was getting short, so we crossed the street once more and checked out a small alleyway that had a very Tuscan feel to it that we could only describe as the Wine Annex. Each shop housed wines of different varietals, local handmade trinkets, and things to take home with your bottle of wine like glassware, wine openers, and animal-themed pour spouts too. We headed back to the FJ afterwards and got ready to head home. We snagged a few more pictures and promised ourselves we would come back when we had more than half a day to explore. Believe it or not, we spent almost 5 hours just in the Sonoma Square alone. Sonoma has so much more history and so many more stories to tell, we couldn't capture it in an afternoon. If you are looking to spend a few hours someplace before you hop on I-80 and head for home too, we highly recommend Sonoma as a place to stop and explore and see exactly why you need to come back for more. Until next time, y'all. Cheers.